Good morning. December the 14th, you're doing lines with the Let's Not Do This podcast. You got the big O, Leon Oliver, sitting alongside two of the three unwise men. We got America's worst house guest, Chris Green, below me, and Scotty Too Hottie to my left. How are you, sir?
Better than both of y'all, it seems like.
Oof.
I was responsible and did not go out last night.
Oof. I think the only people that feel worse than me right now are probably what's left of the Assad regime in Syria. I feel terrible, just absolutely terrible. We'll get into that a little bit here in a second. Chris, how are you?
I am lucky to be alive right now.
Yeah.
Thought I was going to throw up in the shower. That's how bad last night went.
God, that's got to be the worst place to throw up, I would imagine. Because, it's not all going down the drain.
Yeah.
No, it's because
it cleans itself.
People are eating their Fruit Loops right now, but, there's going to be chunkage. It's not all going down the drain, then you're standing there in a pile of your own filth,
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I'm glad it didn't happen. I feel like shit.
I see. This is what I get. This is my penance in life. We're texting yesterday. Chris decides, hey, let's go out. I'm like, you know what? And hung out with Chris. Really, since Thanksgiving? Sure. I'll go out, have a beer or two. There's certain people in life that, you can't go out and have one or two, three beers with.
No.
We go to a local brewery. I know the owner. It's a great place. Wait on. I'll give him a little credit there. Have a couple beers. Okay, great. You know what? Getting a little hungry. Let's go to the sports bar. Watch little hoops. Get some wings. Okay, cool. That's where it should end. But no, not with Chris. You have to go to a third establishment. In this third establishment, I would rather have COVID injected into my penis than go to this place. But there we are. And it was just as horrible as I remembered it was. And I get home at 2 a.m. almost after eating scorching hot wings. And then I finish off leftover pizza. And now I'm up looking at you clowns. I feel like hell. In fact, I'd like to take a moment right now to officially announce my retirement from going out drinking after midnight. I'm retired. I am old.
Hey,
and I daydream.
It would have been 11 or 12 if I didn't get that message from the beautiful woman, the love of my life.
He proceeded to not go home with. So
no, of course
it was
not.
all for naught. It was all for naught.
That's fine.
But yes, it was.
One day she's gonna come around.
You know what? It will be like Forrest Gump.
Come around with a restraining order.
Yes. This is Chris's Jenny. So when she's toward the end of things, 60 years from now, 70 years from now, yeah, she'll give you a call. She'll give you a call.
Hey man,
I got one of those. So.
To be fair, I haven't seen her or the other former coworker in quite some time, so it was good to catch up.
It was good to get out of the house. It was nice, but my God, am I paying for it this morning? And I imagine that my picks will probably pay for it as well, because I've put a Chris level of study into my picks here. I did some early stuff during the week. I usually hit it again hard on Friday. So we'll see how it goes. And speaking of our terrible picks, Scotty, do you have the records there to update everyone on where we are in this
I do. Let me
pull
that up. I will say 2 days ago I was in first place, and now I am in last place. Fucking FCS bullshit.
That's how it. Scotty. And by the way, I lost money last night.
You were on Idaho?
Yes, he was.
I faded myself.
I lost money last night.
All the numbers were saying Montana State, so I was like, it's got to be Idaho.
I lost money last night because of Scotty. I said over 55.5 on the show. I did bet that. I put in a second bet, and I was sitting there going through this parlay, and I could hear Scotty in the back of my head. All the numbers are saying in Montana State, so I go to the other side. And I'm going to take Idaho plus the 14. And I kind of had a little bit of a hungry dog parlay going. So I said, you know what? I'm going to ride with the boy. I took Idaho plus the 14. We're at the bar, and I look over, and it's like 8 million to 2 or whatever.
So I turned it on with like 4 minutes in the first half, and it was 10-10. And so I'm like, all right, I'm looking good. As soon as I turn it on, touchdown Montana State. 2 or 3 plays later, fumble. Montana State gets it back. 2 or 3 plays later, touchdown Montana State. And then I look away for a few seconds, look back up. Montana State's about to score again. And yeah, I just turned it off from that point. But yeah, both you guys went 2-0 Thursday and Friday. I went 0-2. But this is for last
Hell
week.
yeah.
College, I went 3-2. Leon went 3-2. Chris, you went 2-3. NFL, Leon went 3-1. I went 2-1-1. Chris, you went 1-2-1.
Gross.
Total, Leon had the best week last week, 6-3. I went 5-3-1. Chris, you went 3-5-1.
Bring it up the
these
rear,
are-
Chris. Bring it up the
So
rear.
looking at our totals here, I am still first in college somehow with 30-35, which is sad. Chris is still, damn, I'm last in NFL now. That's opposite. Chris first in NFL, 32-26. Leon's right at
Crushing it.
500.
Hey, I'm and nothing
Yeah, I was
is not gonna-
66% in NFL last year. And this shit, what is going on?
It's easy to pick it's easy to pick when no one's keeping track of it, except for yourself.
We kept track last year.
We did?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Can you zoom in a little bit? I can't see that shit.
Yeah, especially I was going to say, especially after
That's what
the
she
amount of
said.
alcohol that we had yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Struggle.
So win column, we're all pretty much right there. You
Yeah,
guys
we're
just have
almost
all
at
the pushes.
500.
Well,
Me and Leon are. Scotty,
Well,
what the fuck?
we'll see how things turn back around.
Okay. I'll catch both of
today.
y'all.
We got some. We got
We
some
got a few
games.
more weeks.
Yeah,
before
and
playoffs,
we're
so.
getting into bowl season now too with college football, and so those are always wacky because you have no fucking idea who is actually going to play, who's in the portal, who's going to sit out, who's going to go to the draft and not play in the bowl game. Bowl games mean nothing anymore. It's just a crapshoot
Yeah.
now. It's trying to figure out what team has how many players left. Is essentially how you make your bowl picks now. But
So I forget where I heard it. I heard something where like maybe these bowl games become more important because of the portal. Guys are like, they're going to be putting in like their younger
Auditioning.
players, I guess, to
Yeah.
kind of put some tape out there.
Yeah.
But who knows?
interesting. They just really need to move. That's a conversation for another day. But they really just need to move the portal window and stuff and have it open after the season. There's no reason like Malachi Nelson of Boise State, the backup quarterback who transferred and lost a job there. There's no reason why he should be in the portal. What if the starter gets hurt and what if they win? Then he had a chance to be on the team and lead them to the national championship, but he's gone. He's in the portal. It makes no sense, especially if you're a playoff team to be going into the portal right now. Wait till after the season, open it up then, and then go from there.
Yeah, I agree.
What are you going to do? All right, well, let's get into the picks this week and see what we can do here. So let's go to our picks of the week. All right, since you are the most sober person on this show, Scotty, since you're a teetotaler and stayed at home yesterday, I'll let you go ahead and start things off here, and you can bring in your own lower thirds because I'm still building mine. So,
All right.
Army Navy, America's game.
Surprised. I think I'm the only one with this on my card. I thought for sure you would pick this one, Leon. But
Oh no, I'm building this. I'm building it now. So I thank you for
Okay.
putting it out there. But yes,
Well, you said you
America's
were
game.
doing all FCS games. But yeah.
Well, FedEx Field. Oh no, excuse me, Northwest Bank Field or whatever the hell it is. Hopefully, no one suffers a severe, debilitating injury that will alter their military career forever because of the shitty field that the Commanders play on. Jesus Christ, what an awful stadium. But yes, Navy and Army getting underway there. 3:00. Isn't it usually a noon game or like 1:00 or something like that on CBS, but in Paramount Plus? But I digress. And then of course the over/under in Service Academy games. Always important number 39.5 there. Scotty, you have the floor.
Yeah, you can usually auto bet the under in these games, but I'm staying away this year. Both teams have been hitting some overs. Army's actually throwing the ball now. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the over hits. But this is just too many points. I don't see I can give either team more than a field goal in this game. And I actually like Navy to win this game possibly outright. I think 6 points is way too much. They have the rare rest advantage in this game.
Mhm.
Usually both teams are coming off a bye, a week off, but Army actually played in the conference championship, won their first conference championship ever at Army, which is kind of crazy. So I know this is Army Navy week, but Army was probably celebrating. So I could see there being a little bit of a letdown here. Navy was probably stewing all week watching that game. It wasn't too long ago where I've said this before. Navy was the team that we were talking about getting the playoff spot potentially. So I think these teams are probably very evenly matched. Army's won the last two. Navy rest advantage, revenge, all that. I just think 6 points is way too much. It's probably be like a 3 or 4 point game. So give me Navy.
Navy plus the points there. All right, all right. You're right. These games are always close. It's like 8 of the last 10, I think, have been one-score games. I know Army won 17-11 last year. They stopped Navy at the goal line. You had that double OT game a couple years ago that Army won. I love this game. It's one of my favorite things about college football, the pageantry, the history, the tradition. I love watching the march on and seeing the midshipmen and seeing the cadets marching to the stadium. It's just everything about this game is fantastic. I love everything about it. I love Bryson Daly, Army's quarterback. I've been talking about him all season. He's got almost 1,500 rushing yards on the year. He's got 29 touchdowns and also has thrown for 877 through the air for 8 TDs as well. What's the guy?
For the year?
Yeah. Well, they don't throw the ball a lot. Obviously.
That's like high school numbers.
Well, they're running freaking, option offense. I mean, that's ground and pound. You got two of the best rushing teams in the country here. That ball's not going to go in the air a lot. I wonder about Navy. The quarterback, Blake Horvath, he got injured early in their loss to Tulane. He sat out the East Carolina game. He's supposed to be back for this one. How effective is he going to be is what I question. In these games, though, somebody always steps up. It's always some random guy we haven't talked about all year that makes a play in this Army-Navy game. And I think it's going to be like that this year. I'm going to go with the under, though. It's 17-11 last year. I expect it to be kind of somewhere around there again this year. Just these teams are going to run the hell out of the ball. There might be, if somebody can make a big pop passing play, that could be the difference in this game. But yeah, I could easily see it being a 17-11 game. I'm going with the under.
Is that on your card?
That is on my card.
Okay.
Christopher, I know you have some thoughts about this one later on. So we will leave that to be there. Scotty, next up for you, sir.
No, yeah, we have the Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl. Let's go. How can you not be excited about that?
What the fuck is Scooters Coffee?
I don't know, but hopefully they'll sponsor us in the future.
Yeah.
I'm Googling it right now.
That's why I picked this game. I drink Scooters Coffee every day.
Why can't we get like Black Rifle or Stella Blue or something? Big Cat.
Because they're not dumb enough to pay. Well, never mind.
The paper bowl game. But yes, Memphis and West Virginia. Of course, West Virginia. Big news yesterday. Rich Rod coming home to Morgantown. You remember how that whole split ended when he left to go to Michigan? There were lawyers involved, and people were shredding things in the football office and faxes and all kinds of weird stuff. I guess they said you can never go home again. Well, they made up. So if Rich Rod and West Virginia can make up, who's to say? What was it, Brad and J-Lo? Maybe they can get back together. Who knows? Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, he's not there right now. So I'm taking Memphis minus the 4.5. This line opened minus 4.5 West Virginia, and it's moved 9 points. So that tells you everything. Obviously, the value is gone on Memphis now, but I still think they're going to cover this. A non-Power 4 school playing a Power 4 school, they are always going to want to win that game, even if they are the favorite in the ranked team here. But I just think even if it was a regular season game, I think I would pick Memphis to win. And now you have Neil Brown, like you just said, he's fired. their coach is gone. I don't think they really care about this game. I think Memphis is going to come in more motivated. I don't think they have a lot of transfers and opt-outs that I'm seeing. But yeah, the line movement I think tells you everything. It was at 5 at one point and came back down to 4.5. But yeah, I still think Memphis is going to come in and just be the team that wants to win, and they're going to cover their 4.5.
It's funny how sports have changed. Before, guys got fired because the team didn't get to a bowl game. Like back in the day, 20, 30 years ago. Now, like, you get fired, interim coach takes you to the bowl game, coach isn't around, you've hired a new coach the day before, and now you're playing the bowl game the next day. It's just, you would never see these things happen, in the 90s or whatever. It would be after the season when a lot of these coaching changes would happen. And certainly if you made it to a bowl, that was usually the point that saved your job. It's just weird. But that being said, I think these guys are going to, for West Virginia, going to be motivated. The guys are going to stay around to play for Rich Rod, even though he's not coaching, but to put that tape out there. Hey, don't worry about what we did this year. We struggled, this and that. It's a new regime coming in. You want to make a good impression. He's going to be there. He's going to be watching, I'm sure, on the sideline. Give me the Mountaineers minus the 4.5. Plus the 4.5. That's not on my card, but I will be betting that. But that's not one of my official picks this week. But I do like West Virginia plus the 4.5 here.
Fantastic. I'm going the opposite. So opposite of whatever Leon says. So give me Memphis plus minus 4.5. Just did some research. Scooter's Coffee originated in Omaha, Nebraska. Closest location is in Raleigh.
The beautiful city of Raleigh. Where about in Raleigh? Does it tell you?
It was down the street from a cookout. That doesn't say a whole lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of cookouts in North Carolina.
It's
okay.
So where is this game played?
The Scooters Frisco Bowl. I would assume Frisco, Texas. So I'm going to assume it's the
Frisco,
stadium,
Texas.
the stadium for FC Dallas, the Major League Soccer facility there, where they also, I believe, play the FCS National Championship game.
Yeah, so Scotty broke that down beautifully. I'm on the same side as Scotty and opposite of the fat guy.
Well, thank you very, very much.
Is this going to be another week of us having like almost the same card? Because we have most of the
I would assume so, because there was 4 bowl games to pick from, and we had to pick 3. So,
well, you got no one's going FCS.
No
you
love for the championship.
I'll take my 0-1 for the FCS and call it a day. Call it a season.
All right. So Scotty going with Memphis minus the 4.5 there. So, all right, is that 3 for you? No,
got one more.
One more.
The Art of Sport LA Bowl. This one's on Wednesday.
Didn't this used to be the Jimmy Kimmel Bowl?
I think it was for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Art of Sport.
So we got Cal and UNLV. As you can see that line there, Cal minus 1.5. Again, I think that line is telling. UNLV is clearly the better team, but they also just lost their coach last week. Their season kind of just fell apart. They had a chance to win their conference and possibly get in the playoff, and then they only scored 7 points. Coach, where did Coach go? Purdue, right?
Yeah, that's a rough job to take that Purdue job right now. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, just looking at motivation. I know Cal's quarterback is in the portal, but Cal's a team that I thought was going to be decent. And I'm sure they thought they were going to be a lot better than what they were. And so I think they're looking to kind of maybe make up for that, go out on a high note. I think they're going to run the ball all over UNLV. Again, motivation. I think they're going to be the team that wants to win this game more. And give me Cal over the heartbroken UNLV running Rebels.
Nice. Dan Mullen, new head coach at UNLV, will not be coaching this game, but that's a interesting hire. That's a hire to get fired there, because I don't see Dan Mullen succeeding out in the desert. Yeah. But Cal, it's actually interesting too. The quarterback goes into the portal the day after he spoke at some student event on campus, and like essentially everyone was loving what he was saying. He's part of the campus community. He's being a Cal student through and through. He's being active and getting involved. And motherfucker goes to the portal the very next day. You gotta love it.
Yeah, I think he was talking about. I think he said something about staying there too, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken.
Like he was talking about this Berkeley and everything. He seems like a Cal guy. He's like bought into everything, and then he just goes to the portal. It's the world that we live in. This game right here just feels to me. Cal's lost a lot of close games this year. When you go back and look at their record, this game to me just feels like it's going to be zany. I would take the over in this just because I feel like I've seen Cal give up some points this year. I don't know. You mentioned UNLV's motivation and stuff with the coach going. Game plan maybe goes out the window. Who knows? Different guys are going in different roles, trying to coach and get this thing prepared. I think I'm going to end up taking the over in a lot of bowl games this year. I'm going with over 48.5 here. It's not officially on my card, but that's what I like.
I don't hate that.
Yeah, you said Cal thought they were going to be better. Nobody else did. I think they overachieved big time. Didn't they come in and they were projected to finish like bottom 5 in the ACC?
They were projected to finish toward the bottom. Yeah, let me look at it and see if I can find the preseason ACC.
Either way, they played hard all year. Lost a lot of very close games, like you were saying. They probably could have won 9 games this year if things had broken for them correctly. I like Cal here minus the 1.5. So future sponsor Art of Sport is a complete line of daily essential body and skincare products made for athletes.
That is not us.
Based out of Los Angeles, California.
That is not us.
So it looks like they got a lot of nice smelling body washes and body sprays and deodorant and stuff. Shower gel. So yeah, Art of Sport, we love you. Send us some stuff.
I could use some of that right now because I've literally just rolled out of bed and sat down and started doing this podcast.
Info. Let's not do this.
Yes, info. Let's not do this podcast.com. Me not showering by 9:22 in the morning. Something's gone terribly wrong. That's something that went terribly wrong was going out drinking with Chris yesterday. You know how you like go drinking at the bar and you get back and you just feel like you've been through some shit. I feel like Andy Dufresne in Shawshank, like when he's climbing through that pipe. That's how I feel. And normally after a drunken night at the bar, I will take a shower before I go to sleep. I fell asleep on my couch yesterday watching documentaries. And then I finally made it to the bed, and I didn't shower. And now here we are doing the show. And I still need to shower. It's not good.
And just like Andy Dufresne, you will take beer for payment.
Yes, I will. Speaking of beer, hair of the dog is the best medicine. So.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I knew he was drinking.
Oh,
good God.
Jesus
All
Christ,
right.
Man. All right, so, Chris has only one more, so I'll go ahead and pull his up. His one remaining.
All right.
The
Cricket Celebration Bowl.
We do love cricket. I do need a new cell phone provider.
Jesus Christ.
Call me, Cricket.
Let me tell you something. If Cricket is your cell phone provider, things have gone wrong in your life.
Wow, look at the game. Look at the game they have.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. Yeah, that's very true.
These are two very good teams, guys, and we love Cricket Wireless here at Let's Not Do This Podcast. So
sponsor Chris.
Info at Let's Not Do This Podcast.
Cricket. Let me tell you something. They don't advertise Cricket Wireless on the Golf Channel. You know what I mean? Like people with a credit score above 4, don't have Cricket Wireless. You know, if your credit score is in the single digits, you have Cricket Wireless.
The views and opinions of Leon Oliver are not the views of Let's Not Do This Podcast.
Have you ever been?
We love you, Cricket.
Have you ever been evicted from an apartment? Welcome to Cricket Wireless. That should be like. Have you ever had a car repossessed? Welcome to Cricket
Boost
Wireless.
Mobile, man.
Oh,
can you even get like on the internet and use Cricket at the same time, or does it kick you off?
I don't know.
Cricket, send us information. We would love to know. And I would love a sponsorship.
Jesus,
I will wear a Cricket T-shirt every day. I will get Cricket tattooed on my body.
They call it cricket because that's what you hear when you call somebody because your calls don't go
Yes,
through.
crickets, yes. Do you think Red Lobster is a nice night out? Welcome to Cricket Wireless. You know,
What's wrong with Red Lobster, man?
Red. Oh my! Don't even get me started on Red Lobster. Anyway, I digress.
So
Go
Red
on to
Lobster Bowl this year?
no. They have a. We're just trying not to be bankrupt bowl. Is what they have. Endless trip may have ended them. But yes, Jackson State and South Carolina State, the lovely celebration bowl, the MEAC and the SWAC here crowning the champion of black college football. Chris, this was your card, so go ahead and dance.
Yeah, this is going to be probably the most exciting bowl game up until Thursday. High scoring. South Carolina State, I was wrong about them earlier this year. I believe we're riding with South Carolina State minus the 2.5. They're a very good team. Let's go. It's going to be exciting at the Cricket Celebration Bowl. Cricket, call me.
Jesus.
Or try to call me. Send me a text message.
I don't think texting is allowed with cricket either. I think you could only Snapchat, and that's for 3 hours a day between 8 and 11.
Yeah, you get free nights. That's it.
Yeah. Oh my! Remember back in the day with cell phones, you used to have to like wait till 8 o'clock to call your friends because it was free minutes at that point. What a world! What a world! All right, this game obviously doesn't have the same buzz that it did a couple of years ago when Dion was coaching in this game when he had Jackson State taking on South Carolina State. MEAC, I believe, has won this game, even though the SWAC is the better conference and they keep stealing teams from the MEAC. The MEAC has actually won this the last couple of years. That being said, I'm going to ride with the Bulldogs here as well, minus the 2.5. I like South Carolina State in this one to keep up that MEAC dominance.
Let's go.
You just ride with Chris because you know he hates that?
Pretty much.
It's not on his card. It's not official. It's fine.
Yeah, just like in real life, I just, he hates when I ride in the car with him, so I just go ahead and do it.
My suspension hates it mostly.
Don't worry. Whatever shop that you take it to get it fixed, I'm sure it's next to a Cricket Wireless. It's one of those shops that you just go in and you pull in, and they automatically just slap the sticker for approved on the car. And it's like,
allegedly.
It's leaking gas. The muffler's falling off. It doesn't matter. Give the guy $25 and a pack of Newports, and he's going to pass that inspection. That's the kind of place Chris gets his car inspected.
Hey, man. You got to do what you got to do. But also, Cricket, contact us.
I'm really missing out because I keep forgetting to bring over that might be racist button because everything I just said in the last 10 minutes might go in that category. So, all right, to recap for Chris Scott, he's going to run through his lines again for those at home that may have missed it. He's got South Carolina State minus 2.5.
Yep. We didn't run through mine, but.
Oh, I thought we were ran through. Okay, well, you know what? We can do both of those. You can go ahead and run through his.
All right.
And then run through
Chris
his.
has South Carolina State minus 2.5, right?
Yep.
And then in the Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl, you have Memphis.
Yes.
Minus 4.5. And then in the Art of Sport LA Bowl, you have Cal minus 1.5.
Correct.
And I'm actually on the same side. I have Memphis minus 4.5, Cal minus 1.5. But then I have Navy plus the 6.
Navy plus.
And all right, Leon, you are up.
All right. So
did you build your fucking lower thirds?
Yes, I did build my lower thirds. I'm very talented.
Congrats.
So we already talked about Army and Navy. I like the under 39.5 here with this game. Next up on the card, FCS playoffs. Incarnate Word at I said South Dakota State. Yeah, that is South. Yeah, Incarnate. Yeah, Incarnate Word at South Dakota State at the Fargo Dome there. You guys know where Incarnate Word is?
Probably in Texas.
You're correct. San Antonio, Texas, actually. That's where Cam Ward started before he went to Washington State and before he went to Miami as well.
Interesting.
Listen, I think I left the spread off on this game because I'm stupid in my haste of building this. Let me go and pull it up right now. I believe the Jackrabbits are 23 and a half point
Jesus.
favorites here. No, 20 and a half. Okay, it's moved a little bit. So 20, actually, it's 20 on here right now. Let me go ahead and stick that in. So the Jackrabbits, 20-point favorites at home. Listen, they are a wagon. You don't go into the Fargo Dome and come out with a W over South Dakota State. Mark Gronowski, the quarterback, one of the best players in the FCS. A lot of people obviously don't know the name because they just don't watch FCS football. I expect points in this one, though. Incarnate Word can chuck this thing around. Obviously, you got the fast track in the dome there in Fargo. I'm going to go over the 54 and a half. I think the Jackrabbits cover, but I do like the over 54 and a half in this game.
Yeah,
I have
I'm
no
writing
thought.
down. Yeah, I don't either. I was writing down your like an abbreviation for incarnate word, and I wrote IN word, so I wrote N word.
That might be racist.
So
I believe you
yeah,
would abbreviate
so I will
University
not
of.
have. Yeah, I will not have any more comments on this game.
I believe you abbreviate University of Incarnate Word UIW, which sounds like a really shitty union. You know, it's like, oh yeah, I'm a part of the UIW. You know, yeah. Lehigh
Yeah.
Coco, give me a call. All right. So, any other thoughts? Anybody have any other thoughts on this one?
No.
Nothing
No?
at all.
All right. So, moving.
Is it gonna snow?
No, it was in the dome.
Oh, it's in a dome. I didn't.
Yeah, you don't know where South Dakota State plays, you idiot.
Come on, man. You don't know you don't know the fortress that is the Fargo Dome. Hey, a lot of these schools up in that part of the country actually have domes. And speaking of domes, the next game is actually taking place in the dome as well. The Dakota Dome. Playing host to this one in beautiful Vermilion, South Dakota. That's USD. The Coyotes, they are number 2 team in the land, 5.5-point favorites over the Aggies of UC Davis. UC Davis, new member of the Mountain West Conference in all sports except for football, which doesn't make any sense to me. UC Davis, not far from Sacramento, their arch rival, Sacramento State. I digress on this one. Once again, I like the over in a lot of these games. Have not seen South Dakota really play a lot this year. I watched them more last year. I've seen UC Davis a few times. They have put up points in batches this year. Not a lot of analysis on this, but I'm going with the over 58.5 points here.
Yeah, I don't know. Seems like a smaller number than I would have thought. So I guess I would take UC Davis.
UC Davis
What's,
plus the 5.5.
What's
Yeah, I
UC
guess.
Davis's
Sure,
mascot?
They're the Aggies.
Aggies. Too many Aggies in college football.
What? UC Davis,
Utah
Texas
State.
What is
A&M.
an Aggie? Isn't
A
there one New Mexico? Isn't there like a
New Mexico State, which New Mexico State's the Aggies, but the guy's got like 2 pistols. He's like, pull him up. And it's like, he's about to rob a stagecoach. Like, shouldn't he be like farming crops? But I guess there's no like farmable land maybe in Las Cruces, New Mexico. Just broken dreams. That's a place that you go like when you have nowhere else to go. You know, like life has beaten you down. You can't make it work anywhere else. Welcome to Las Cruces, New Mexico. You know, that's like a place you went to in like 1836 when there was wanted posters out. And you had to go somewhere and like there's 7 people in the town. And you hope to like restart your life as a farmer. That was Las Cruces, New Mexico.
All right. If you look up what is an Aggie, AI tells you it's a student or person at Texas A&M, so they don't know either.
Thank you, AI. But no, it's a farmer. I think North Carolina A&T is the Aggies as well,
yes.
I believe. Yeah. All right. So recap for me here. I'm taking the under 39.5 in Army Navy. I'm going with over 54.5 in the Incarnate Word in South Dakota State. Incarnate Word, in South Dakota State. And then I am taking the over 58.5 in UC Davis and South Dakota from the lovely Dakota Dome in Vermilion, South Dakota, which was also once the state capital of South Dakota. All All right, moving over to the NFL side of things. Scotty, you are up, my friend, and I think you are starting with. I'll get you started. You're starting with the Chiefs and the Browns. Oh, lovely. Uh, Travis Kelsey gets to come home. I'm sure they're going to try to shoehorn him a touchdown. Uh, Kansas City laying the 4.5 over under 43.5 1 o'clock tomorrow. CBS, you're up, sir.
You think about Travis Kelsey a lot for somebody that hates him for whatever reason. But anyways,
I'm a red-blooded American male. That's why.
and he's okay. Anyways, so the Chiefs have hit 2 unders in a row. The Browns are coming off an under last week. But Jameis, he's not hitting 2 unders in a row. I think we get the full Jameis experience. And I don't think the Browns are going to be able to run the ball on the Chiefs. The Chiefs have one of the best run defenses this year. The Browns, their defense is the 4th worst in yards per play. Yeah, per pass attempt. So I think Mahomes is going to finally have a good game for you fantasy owners, maybe. He killed my season. But anyways, yeah, I just think the Browns are going to have to throw the ball a lot. So that either means big plays to Jerry Jeudy or pick sixes. And then, so either way, either the Browns are scoring points, which means the Chiefs are going to have to score some points, or he's just putting Mahomes in scoring positions. So I can see this either being like a 30-27 game or a Chiefs blowout, like 34-20 or something like that. 34-17. So yeah, I really like the over in this one. I haven't checked the weather. Hopefully there's no weather. But yeah, Jameis isn't going under 2 in a row. I think he's going to come out playing against Mahomes. He's going to be all amped up. He's going to be going crazy for better or for worse. Yeah, give me the over.
Hey, you mentioned Jameis and the pick sixes. Remember, he asked the Lord to deliver him from pick sixes. So he going for him now. He may have some the divine intervention. And you mentioned the weather. I believe tomorrow in Cleveland it is supposed to be rainy. I think most of the day tomorrow, like in the 40s and rainy, with a real feel. What AccuWeather says of around 27. So cold and rainy.
As long as the field isn't all sloppy like it was Thursday night.
Okay. I have some
game that was. Yeah, I had the Brock Purdy rushing prop, and he only ran one time. He's a little guy. He needs good field conditions. He can't be getting any traction in those sloppy ass field. I think everybody went under their props Thursday.
He also needed Trent Williams out there, and the actual Trent Williams, not the Fakakta Trent Williams that they showed on the broadcast there.
Yeah. So, how many times are we going to do that? What?
It's the other.
How does that get passed? How does that get thrown up and nobody's like, hey, that's not Trent Williams. That's a different black guy.
I can tell you, as someone that's worked live event production, whenever those things happen in the TV truck and all, it's always hilarious because someone's like, "Oh, that's such and such person," and someone's like, "No, it's not." And there's usually one person on Google or they got their phone pulled up and they're looking, "Is that him? Is that him?" And then they're deciding, do we want to put him up? Is he important enough to put up and show on the screen? That's like if there's a celebrity or whatever. I remember there was a guy from Court TV once. At a Virginia basketball game, that we were trying to decide should we put him up or not. They put him on the screen. They asked for the lower third. I put the lower third up. It says True TV, and I'm getting screamed at. It's Court TV. I'm like, they literally just changed the fucking channel to True TV 2 days ago, and literally I had to send a screenshot to someone, and I was like, I will expect a apology, please, sir.
Yeah, but that guy, he didn't even look anything like Trent Williams. Really.
He was a big lineman.
I need the button. I need the racist button.
yes, you do. All right, so I have some thoughts on this game that I will share later on. Christopher, any thoughts on this one?
This is on his card.
This is on my card, I believe. I picked them at 8:15 this morning. So, but
confidence.
The Chiefs haven't covered since October. Don't know if anybody's realized that. So give me Cleveland plus 4.5. The Chiefs have destroyed me betting wise this year. So fuck them. Give me the Browns.
All right, taking the Browns.
Yeah, I
before.
almost took that, but you never know what Jameis you're going to get. He might
I
just
don't think
give
it
them.
matters.
He just might give them.
If you can't cover
14
against the
points.
Raiders, you're not going to cover against a good team with
But
a good
he's
defense.
the Lord
Are the
is
Browns good?
delivering him from pick sixes, Chris. He's got
They're
divine
better.
Browns-
intervention.
The Browns are not. They do not have good defense. Not this year.
By the way, after Odell Beckham was released by the Dolphins this week, I did see a thing going around that said, the Browns ended up with Deshaun Watson essentially because Odell Beckham's dad dropped a diss track on Baker Mayfield. That started this whole thing,
And that's why they got Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, who posted the picture, by the way, the other day on Instagram from like vacation. Looked like Mexico or something like that. You're like your teammates are getting shit kicked in. You're on vacation. Enjoy, bud. Enjoy.
And they said they're bringing back their coach and their GM, so that leads me to believe that the owner was the one that said, "Let's get Deshaun Watson." Because if the GM is the one that gets him, then why would you bring him back?
Well, they the North Carolina football coaching position was high, was filled. Bill Belichick took that job, so there was no point in firing Stefanski because North Carolina already had a coach because they just love former Cleveland Browns coaches. Freddie Kitchens obviously was the interim there after Matt got fired, and then of course they had Butch Davis back in the day. So I was hoping Stefanski would complete the trifecta there in Chapel Hill, but I digress. All right. Next up, these two teams don't play very often, but when they do, we should have the first ever trophy in a rivalry game trophy in the NFL. We just need like a bronze bust of like Peyton Manning and maybe just
I was
a
going to
forehead.
say, I was saying like that when his trophy got like photoshopped to make his forehead like 10 feet tall.
Yes, that's what we do. Or like when Big Cat does that bit where he takes a picture of like the commentator's head on the television and like from the angle it's like massive. Like Joe Buck always looks like he's like an alien, like a massive head.
Yeah.
That's what we need for this game. Colts Broncos, the Battle of Peyton. Which side does he love more? His original baby mama or the side piece in Denver? Broncos laying 4.5 at home. Over under is 44.5, 425 tomorrow on CBS, who Jim Nantz tells me is America's most watched network. He says it all the time.
Yeah, he does.
You said
Broncos.
it.
Broncos have been rolling. They're 6-0 against the spread as a favorite this year. But I think the Colts are going to end that streak. Broncos they've won 3 in a row against some bad teams though. And I think the Colts are going to possibly win or at least keep this close. Broncos run a lot of man defense. That's not a great thing to do against a mobile quarterback like the Colts. I think Anthony Richardson is going to be able to use his legs and run the ball, maybe hit some deep shots on that man defense. I still don't really think that the Broncos are that good. They've obviously been an overachiever this year. They're playing well, but I don't know. They haven't really played a really good mobile quarterback. Well, they did. Lamar Jackson, and the Ravens beat them 41-10.
Yeah.
And he didn't even run the ball. So he was just throwing the ball all over the place because he didn't need to run. But so you look at the rushing yardage from quarterbacks against the Broncos is skewed because they haven't really played any real mobile quarterbacks except for Lamar Jackson, but he didn't need to run in that game. But I just think Anthony Richardson has been actually good against the spread in his 2 years, as bad as he's been. The Broncos, I just think the Colts keep this one close, and actually I think the Colts are going to pull the upset here. I think we're all just a little too high on the Broncos and Sean Payton. He's not that guy. Bo Nix isn't that guy. Give me the Colts.
Okay, going with the look at that. I said Baltimore Colts. Shows how old I am. In fact, the optometrist I used to go to, she has a chart that's in her office, and it has like NFL standings, and it actually has Baltimore Colts on there. And when I used to go there, I used to point it out to her like all the time. She was also like 27, and then would always look at me like, I don't give a fuck. Swipe your health insurance, please, and get out of my office. I digress. I like Denver. That defense, the way they've been playing. I love Bo Nix. told you guys early on in the season, even when he was having his struggles, he was going to be a good quarterback. You're starting to see him mature and develop right in front of your eyes. He's getting the ball to Cortland Sutton. He's been more accurate, settled down with some of those accuracy issues he was having early on. I like Denver at home with some mile high magic to cover the 4.5.
Yeah, I kind of like Denver as well. I don't know why. I don't think either one of these teams is that good.
I don't know why.
I'm more curious as to who hates who more. Does Scotty hate Sean Payton more, or does Leon hate Taylor Swift more?
I don't hate Sean Payton. I think you probably hate Sean Payton more than I do. I just don't. I think he's a good offensive coach, but he's not a great coach. He's not a genius. He's doing well with Bo Nix, but I don't think that's going to last.
I am
doing over there right now for no reason.
Refrain from acknowledging that statement because I don't want an army of psychopathic cat ladies that come after me, or psychopathic 13-year-old girls who will develop into cat ladies later on in life, which are her fans there. So I will digress and stay away from that one. But needless to say, her and McConnell are not my favorite people.
I'm looking at Denver's wins here. We'll start at the beginning of the season. So they beat the Jets week 1. Week 2, they beat the Bucks. Okay, so the Bucks is not a bad win. All right, but since then, they got wins over the Panthers, the Saints, the Raiders again, the Falcons, and that's it.
And the Browns.
Did they beat the Browns?
Yeah, they beat the Browns in their last game, 41-32. Yeah. So yeah, I get it.
It's not showing up here for whatever. Oh, okay, December. Gotcha.
But
yeah, the Browns aren't good either.
Who have they beat? But hey, are we going to get into the strength of schedule conversation in the NFL? They didn't go out and schedule these games. It's what was put there. You got to play the games. There's 32 teams in the league.
Well, no, I'm just saying we're crowning Bo Nix and Sean Payton and the Broncos. It's some great team, and as Lee Corso would say, not so fast. I think the Colts are going to get them.
But even though you look at the losses, I mean, look, 26-20 at Seattle, that's always a tough place to play when they open the season. You lose by 7 at home to Pittsburgh, 13-6. Yeah, you got walked by Baltimore 41-10.
That's before Pittsburgh was good.
Baltimore walks a lot of people, though, Then you lose at Kansas City 16-14. You lose by 2 points at Arrowhead, and that whole blocked field goal, thing. They should have had a win there. I mean, they get that Kansas City win. We're looking at this team different. They would be riding a 4-game win streak and have a win over the Chiefs. That block kick, changes, I think, a lot of how we view them. They would be 9-4 right now. And that conversation would be a lot different about Denver. They're growing up. I am starting to believe in the Broncos.
All right, so they're going to fall apart now. You said that.
There we go.
Thank you.
There we go. All right. So Scotty, you're going with the Colts plus the 4.5 there, and then you and I both share this game here. So I will.
I think all 3 of us have it.
Okay. So this next game.
What game?
The Steelers and the Eagles. Philadelphia laying 5.5. Over unders 43.5. 4:25 tomorrow on Fox. Before we get into the thoughts on this one, I did have a couple things I want to bring in on this one here. The Steelers have gone over in 5 straight road games with an average of 55 points per game. Also, only 6 of Jalen Hurts' 31 home games have had less than 43 points. The Steelers have not won in Philadelphia since 1956. Now, while this, may factually be
65.
I mean, 65. I got dyslexia. Leave me alone. 1965. While this factually may be true, this is like one of those stats you see is like, I can't believe it. They play them every 4 years, and then they get them at home like every 8 years. They go Philly every 8 years. They ain't playing all the time. It's like
it's like when they show the stats in like the Olympics or like the World Cup.
Oh yeah. Well, they haven't beaten Bosnia since 1972. It's like, oh well. shit, Yeah.
It's the most gold medals in 32 years. You mean 8 Olympics? Okay.
Yeah. And then lastly here on this one, this is bonkers. Andrew Siciliano posted this during Thursday Night Football the other day. That if you erased Saquon Barkley's first half rushing yardage this season,
Jesus.
he'd still be the number 2 rusher in the league with 1,057 yards.
Wow.
Yeah, that's insane.
That is nuts. Which also tells you too, we've seen the drama in Philadelphia with with AJ Brown, the receivers wanting to get the ball. Really tells you how much they've been relying on Saquon for pretty much damn near 100% of their offense here. So, all right, Scott, I'll let you start this one off.
Yeah, it seems like everybody's on the Steelers to cover this one, and for that reason, and for the fact that this line is still, I think, I moved from 4.5 to 5.5.
Yeah,
and that's with everybody on the Steelers. Yeah, I think the Eagles are going to cover this one. No George Pickens, I think, for the Steelers. Did I hear that correctly?
correct. No George Pickens.
Yeah, so it's going to take away the old moon ball for Russ. I don't think Russ is going to cook this week. The Eagles, number 1 defense in yards per play, number 1 in net yards per pass attempt by far. I think they're 5 per attempt, 5 yards net. That takes into effect sacks and all that. I think the next closest was 5.5. I mean, that's a huge difference. So yeah, I just think the loss of Pickens is going to hurt them in this game. And I know you had that stat about all the overs. I wouldn't be surprised if this goes under, if the Eagles just completely shut down the Steelers' offense. Eagles drafted 2 really good defensive backs, Quinyon Mitchell, and they even got a white corner,
Cooper DeJean from Iowa.
Yeah, so you got a white corner who's making plays. Your defense is probably pretty good. Yeah, you got Jalen Carter, who's just a monster if he can just not go crazy on the field. Yeah, I think this just all sets up. I think we're overblowing the AJ Brown situation for the Eagles. I think they're going to be fine. Yeah, I just think the Steelers are going to have a hard time scoring points, and the Eagles are going to cover this one.
The last time Pittsburgh won there obviously was 1965, as we saw earlier. You know who was in the White House then?
Johnson?
LBJ.
Or Kennedy, yeah.
LBJ, my man, who would drive around his ranch drunk driving and had a cup holder installed for his drink there with dust in the wind. He also liked to pull out his hog all the time in front of people. LBJ was in the White House last time.
Some things don't change.
It's crazy. That means nothing for this game, obviously. I showed all those stats, earlier talking about the over, but I hate to be on the same side as Scotty. I feel like this game is going to go under. We're going to get a heavy dose of Saquon. I feel like Philadelphia may try to force the ball passing a little bit just because of some of that consternation that we've seen in the wide receiver room. You saw AJ Brown, what needs to prove on the offense? He's like passing. It's like, well, you're winning. So, I mean, like, just, okay, bro, whatever.
They asked him a question. He answered it.
Yeah, he answered it truthfully. I'll give him that,
It's not making a big deal out of it.
But no, I think early they may try to force it. I actually am going to look at if there's like a stats on like a first half interception for Jalen Hurts. I just feel like they're going to try to force something early on. Then they'll settle down. They're going to run Saquon. Pittsburgh, obviously not having George Pickens, that's going to hurt the offense there. But I think you'll see a lot of receptions for Freiermuth. If they can play physical, which they struggle with, and to try to run the ball with Najee, I think this game might go a little bit slower. The defenses are going to be hidden. It's going to be intense. I'm going to go under the 43.5 here as well. By the way, Chris Boswell, difference maker. Maybe 3-4 field goals for Chris Boswell. I'm going to be looking at his props on that one.
All right, so 20-12.
It feels like it. It feels like it.
And I said I like the under, but my pick is the Eagles minus 5.5.
My bad. Okay. Well, I'm on officially the under 43.5.
Yep. The battle of the shitty state of Pennsylvania, the 2 worst fan bases in America, not named Cowboys. Fuck this game. Fuck these people. Eagles minus 5.5. Saquon's going to go nuts.
So, Chris, I don't think that you'll be taking the 5-hour drive east across state on 76 from Pittsburgh to Philadelphia anytime soon.
No, I don't think I will.
No. It's got to be like the shortest
This reminds
flight.
me of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia when Charlie can't understand that Philly and Pittsburgh are both in Pennsylvania. He's like, but that's like two cities. You can't have two cities in one state.
It really is funny. The two more different two places could not be. You always think about California, Northern California and Southern California, like the cultural divide between the two. I mean, really, you traverse Pennsylvania, Western Pennsylvania and the Eastern Pennsylvania are just two completely different worlds there. It will be interesting in my household because my wife's family, half is from Pittsburgh, half is from Philadelphia. My in-laws, one's a Steeler fan, one's an Eagle fan. Be interested. I wish I could put like a ring camera inside their home tomorrow to watch them watch this. I'm sure there'll be some fireworks there. But yeah, should be a good one. And I'm sure there'll be no fights in the crowd. I'm sure they'll all be well behaved.
I thought you were gonna say on the field. I'm like, well, Pickens is out.
Yeah. No, I'm sure all the fans will be well behaved as they stop at whatever random Wawa so they can buy 192 ounces of fucking alcohol because the goddamn state of Pennsylvania is communist and they won't allow you to buy a case of beer. It's fucking ridiculous. I still haven't forgiven them for that.
I bought a case of beer. I bought a case of beer there once. It was sketchy to way. I think we talked about that on here once. You had to like go up to like a window at some old abandoned looking building.
Yeah, you knock
on the window and tell them what you want.
Yeah, you went to a distributor. There you can buy a case. You go to the Wawa, you go to the Wegmans, you go to the Sheets. You can only buy 192 ounces of alcohol at one time. It's the stupidest fucking law of all time. Stupidest law ever.
Yeah, and it's like crazy expensive too.
Fucking Pennsylvania. You know what, Chris?
Yeah, I wish we could get the George Pickens and because can you imagine the memes of George Pickens and Cooper DeJean getting a fight?
Oh my god, it would be so great. Remember, they still have that jail inside of the link. You know, they would just put George Pickens in that jail like during the game. Yeah. Or they could have put who's the guy that walked off the field? The Devondre was it Crawford for the 49ers? Campbell, yeah.
Campbell.
Yeah, it's could just put him straight there. Or Aziz Al-Shaair for the Texans when he tried to murder Trevor Lawrence during the game the other week. They could have just put him in the jail. Every stadium should have a jail like Philadelphia. At least they know their fan base. You know what? We need to prosecute and lock these people up during the game. We're going to put a jail in the stadium. I give Philadelphia credit for it. They know their constituents.
Is there a TV in the cell so they can watch the game?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know. Do they give you like your own shiv when you get in there? Because I just assume most people in the crowd in Philadelphia have a shiv of some sort.
Let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on before, if those people could read a map to figure out how to leave that shitty city, they would all be coming down to attack me. But, I'm not really worried about that. They got enough problems in that shithole of a city. It's called Kingsington. Let's digress. All right. That was for Scotty's card here. The recap for Scotty, Chiefs Browns.
Over 43.5.
The Battle of Peyton Manning.
Colts plus 4.5.
And then the Keystone Showdown.
Eagles minus 5.5.
All right. Now for some top-notch analysis here. Chris, you already had Chiefs Browns.
Yep, Browns plus 4.5.
And then the Keystone Showdown.
Eagles minus 5.5.
And then finally, the game of the week, Bills and the Lions from Ford Field. Detroit laying 2.5 over under 54.5, 425 on CBS, America's most watched network.
This will be a very exciting game. I'm thinking points. Both very, very good offenses. Josh Allen's going to do some crazy shit. Not taking a side. Give me over 54.5.
Okay. Scotty?
Yeah, I don't hate that. I almost put the Bills plus 2.5 on my card, but I don't know. The more I think about it, I'm gonna stay away from the side probably. So I'll either do a prop on this one, but I do or maybe the over. I do like the over.
Yeah.
Big game. Both teams should be throwing the ball around for all 4 quarters. So yeah, big number, but this is one of those rare 50-plus point games where I like the over.
Yeah. If you got a friend, family member, acquaintance, whoever, someone that's not really a football fan, you need to call them and tell them, watch this. This is what'll get you hooked on the NFL. This
This
game.
is sorry.
Oh,
Go
go on.
My bad. I was going to say this is probably the 2 favorites to get to the Super Bowl right now.
That is what I was literally about to say.
Yeah.
I mean, this is
Yeah.
could be a preview of what we see in the Super Bowl here. So if you got someone that's on the fence about watching football, you need to go and tell them this is it. It's like when you guys tell me to watch NBA, and then I see that sequence from the other day. What was it? Knicks, Hawks, and like it was missed three pointers, and guys were dribbling off the foot. It was turnovers. Somebody tweeted it out. It was like, this is the NBA's product. It was like 1 minute of like one of the worst things of basketball I've ever seen in my life. This is the exact opposite of that. This is when your friend tells you the pizza place is going to be good and it actually lives up to the hype. That's this game right here. I'm just so excited for it. It's going to be a masterpiece. I love that it's indoors. I love, Buffalo in the cold weather and stuff. I love that this is in Detroit. So you can see 2 of the best offenses in the league, unencumbered, 2 of the best quarterbacks in the league going head to head, points. This is on my card as well. I'm going to ride with the over 54.5. I got a feeling this might be like that Chiefs-Rams Monday Night Football game a few years ago. Remember, it was like a color rush on Monday night. It was like 40 something to 40 something. It was just amazing.
I think it was. Didn't one of them get in the 50s?
May have been. Was that Jared Goff against? Was that Mahomes against Goff in that game?
Yes.
Yeah. I feel like this has the potential to be like that. It's just going to be points, pinball.
54-51.
54-51. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. The over is going to get well blown away in this one. I think I'm going with over 54.5.
Sweet.
All right.
So, your under is going to hit now. All 3 of us like it.
Pretty much. All right. Going to the rest of my card here. Did we recap for Chris?
He only had that one game.
Oh yeah, that's right. We only had the one game. So all right. So for me, moving over here, I'm surprised none of you boys had this one here. You're both Comanches fans here.
We know that
way.
To New Orleans, laying the 7.5, taking on the Saints. Over under is 43.5. 1 o'clock on Fox. Marshawn Lattimore making his much anticipated debut for the Washington Commanders. Of course, going against his former team. He was talking to the media the other day, talking, typical player talk. They traded me away. I'm going to make him, see the error of their ways, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I think he's going to press in this game. I think he's going to give up a touchdown in this game, trying to prove a point, maybe a stupid personal foul penalty, trying to prove a point in this game. Saints are all beat up. They're all beat to shit. Like, there's so many injuries across the board there. But MVS has played well. Excuse me, I'm looking at the hiccups now from drinking with Chris yesterday.
Speaking of, is he yakking right now?
Who, Chris?
Yeah.
I think he is.
Bet he is.
I think he is, actually. That's so great. It's on video.
Oh shit.
Oh, that made, if I could, Lord, take me now. I've reached the zenith of my life. I can do no more. But yes, I think Marshawn Lattimore could potentially give up some plays here. I worry about Washington's defense a little bit. I know Allen is supposed to be, I think, back in the lineup there. Jonathan Allen with that pec. Well, actually, no, he might return this season. I don't know if it's this game. I think he got hurt in like that game against Baltimore. I'm not sure if he's back yet or not. I just worry. I feel like, I don't know if you can necessarily overlook a team in the NFL, but I feel like this is when they might be like sleepwalking against the Saints a little bit. I like New Orleans plus the 7.5 here. They just, I don't know. I like the way they play. I feel like they can just find a way sometimes. I like New Orleans plus 7.5.
Yeah, I don't bet on the Commanders because it's just you bet with your head, not your heart.
Yeah.
But anytime I bet on the Commanders, it's like an automatic jinx. But I will say I do think that we're going to come out. This is a very important game for us. I think we have to win this game. I think if we lose this one, then all of a sudden we got a couple of tough games coming up. All of a sudden, our playoff spot is not looking too secure. So I think we're going to come out ready. And another reason why I like us to win in a blowout is let me share my screen here. Can you see that?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
This is the Saints quarterback this week.
Is that real?
Enough said. Yes. You haven't seen this?
No, I have not.
He's got
seen
all
that.
kinds of just pictures of him just looking crazy. I don't know if he's doing it on purpose. I assuming he is. But yeah.
Wow,
For that reason alone, give me the Commanders big. And again, I kind of like the over, but I don't know if the Saints are going to be able to score enough. But yeah,
Okay.
I had to bet it over Commanders. But yeah, I don't know.
All right, and so then
and how about you mentioned Lattimore?
Yeah,
he's probably been looking forward to this, and now he gets in there, and all of his receivers that he used to play with are hurt. So
they're all
yeah. I'm going up against MVS. Okay, nice to meet you.
And then you heard me. So I got the Saints plus the 7.5. You heard me mention Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. I'm going with the under 43.5 here. And then with Bills and the Lions, I got the over 54.5 on this one. Also, Scotty, before we get to our underdog parlay, Bills and Lions, I forgot to bring this up earlier. The NFC North, the Lions, Vikings, and Packers are a combined 28-3 against teams that aren't each other.
Oh, yeah, the division. Yeah. I did see that. That's
yeah.
That's the best division of football,
without a doubt. Chris is back from hurling outside of a Wawa. Are you okay, sir?
We came close, but we rallied. We're good.
Okay. One more thing too. None of us picked this game because why would you? But the Panthers are favored against the Cowboys. The Panthers favorite for the first time since December 18th, 2022.
Bro, I hate that team in Dallas, but how can you bet the Panthers -3 against anybody? They'll probably get blown out. Watch.
They played better, and Bryce Young has looked better. I mean, like, they had a game they should have won against Tampa a couple weeks ago. They're making strides, and you look at that team now, and it's like, okay, if you keep guys around, maybe you bring the coaching staff back, you draft well, maybe this is a team that NFC South is always topsy-turvy that could improve, maybe try to contend for the division next year, as crazy as that sounds. I know I'm basing this off just a couple of week sample size here, but they've looked like a real football team. I know they've lost 3 straight, but they took Kansas City to the wire. Like I said, they should have beat Tampa. Then, Xavier Legette doesn't drop that touchdown, that surefire touchdown last week. Maybe they beat Philly. I mean, you look at the ball bouncing in a couple different ways. They had beat the Giants and they had beat the Saints before that. I mean, coulda, shoulda, woulda, but like they're a couple plays away from being on the 5-game win streak. As crazy as that sounds.
And the division's trash, so why not?
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Xavier Legette, maybe if he had some more raccoon, he would have been okay. Did you see that this week, Scotty? He admitted on the podcast that he eats raccoon.
I thought like a headline or something, but yeah, that doesn't surprise me. He's country as shit.
He is from bumble shit, South Carolina. So, yeah. All right. Well, if we don't hit more of these underdog parlays, we all may be eating some raccoon. Let's go ahead and see what the underdog parlay is this week. So, Scotty, I believe you're up first. I forget who's up first. I don't know. Let's bring it in. Christopher.
Oh, it's me.
America's game, Army Navy. You got the middies plus 200.
Correct. This game is a toss-up every year, so why not take plus 200 odds on this?
Not bad. I don't hate the flyer there. Obviously, come from a long lineage of Army people. I root for Army in this game every year, but Navy plus 200 it's a nice little sprinkle there. All right, next up, Scotty, going with a sport that I didn't know still existed and a team I didn't know still existed, the NBA and the Atlanta Hawks. Who are
Didn't
they
you
even?
pick them to win the East this year?
I
At the
did.
Yeah,
beginning
you did. Yeah,
Fucking
How are
idiot.
How are they doing?
and you always send us parlays with Trey Young in it. So
I just assume nobody plays defense in that league. I just try to get some overs. How are the Hawks?
Decent.
they started off not so good, but they're 7-3 in their last 10. They're obviously in this semifinal of the NBA Cup, going against the Bucks. The Bucks have been playing better too, but I still don't think the Bucks are that good. They struggled against my Orlando Magic in their last game. We were without our two best players. We still almost won that game. I just don't trust the Bucks. Trey Young hasn't really been scoring like he normally does, and they've been playing better when he's not taking 40 shots a game. So maybe he's figured something out. They got a pretty deep team. Yeah, so give me the Hawks. Pull the upset.
Okay, going with the Atlanta Hawks there. And then speaking of upsets, from the third leg here, I'm going to go with the Browns over the Chiefs. Cleveland plus 190 at home there. Look, Kansas City, Chris, you mentioned they haven't covered since when?
October.
Yeah, Chiefs haven't covered since October. They won every conceivable possible way that you can win a football game, including last week, even doinking it off the upright and going over the crossbar. They had like 4 different kickers, I think, kick like game-winning field goals this year or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something ridiculous. They block the kick to win. They just somehow, some way, they find a way every single week. That luck is going to run out at some point. I'm hoping it runs out in the playoffs in their first home game. But until we get to that point, I feel like, Travis Kelce going back to Cleveland, there's going to be all these stories about that. They're going to try to get him a touchdown, obviously. But, when you have smoke and mirrors going for you and you're winning by the seat of your pants and the skin of your teeth, you know who can ruin that for you? Jameis. Because Jameis has the ability to go out and throw for 450 yards, or he can throw for 5 interceptions. It's just which Jameis is going to show up.
Or both.
I'm going to gamble, or both. That's very true. I'm going to gamble on good Jameis. And the Lord is going to deliver him from pick sixes tomorrow. He's taking the Chiefs to church. Give me the Browns. Plus 190.
There should be some good odds. Maybe plus 1,600, 1,500.
They are coming in at 1988.
Ooh.
Let's go.
That.
That's our highest one yet, I think.
1988. Yeah. By the way, that is when the Olympics, wasn't that LA? 1988.
Sure, I was three, so I don't know.
I'm too hungover for this. All right, wrap it up.
Okay, wrap it up. That's what I was going to make a joke. I didn't do it. I stopped myself. I took a Kaepernick on that. No, 1988 was the Seoul Olympics. Seoul, South Korea. Okay. Well, I digress. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get ready to wrap it up and get out of here. Was that the Olympics that we boycotted? I don't know. I'll figure it out another day in another time. Make sure to join us right back here Thursday, 6:45 p.m. for the Let's Not Do This podcast. Talk about Thursday night football. And by the way, before we get out here, there's 2 Monday night games this week.
Yeah.
Why? I guess
the Raiders.
Because Christmas.
I don't know why.
They got to get the schedule straight so teams can play on Christmas and Black Friday and stuff.
Probably.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah. This is weird seeing 2 Monday night football games this late in the season. I digress. But join us right back here Thursday, 6:45 for the Let's Not Do This podcast. We'll talk a little Thursday night football, Broncos at Chargers then, talk some bowl games, talk some weird news, all that fun stuff. Be a friend, tell a friend, like, subscribe, and share. And maybe we'll buy Chris a vomit bag. Peace.
See ya.